Hello and welcome back to Biz Inbox. I'm Em Vernon.
And I'm Sarah Davidson, and today we're talking about resume ethics, specifically when everyone around you seems to be bending the truth and getting ahead because of it. Oh my God, that is an absolute toughie.
Plus, we are going to be solving some reference dilemmas. We've talked about references for a few times in Biz Inbox. We've got a big one today because this one will make you question everything you thought you knew about the process, including what to do when people who should vouch for you don't.
Oh, and for our season finale
It's
today,
our season finale.
I cannot believe we're up to our season finale. Oh my gosh, we are finishing with an absolute bombshell. Somebody has accidentally stumbled onto information that could change their colleagues' lives forever, but sharing it could destroy their own career. Oh my gosh, it's a Biz Inbox puzzle.
I want to dive into our first question, which is all about the unspoken rules of resume writing and whether we should be playing by them. So Meg DM'd us this, and it's literally got me questioning everything I know about resume honesty. So she says, I just finished a marketing internship where I was basically doing coordinator level work, running campaigns, presenting to clients, everything. My official title was marketing intern, but that sounds so junior compared to what I actually did. Job titles are completely made up anyway, and if recruiters are searching for marketing coordinator, not marketing intern, why should I miss out on opportunities because of some arbitrary label? My friends have definitely lied about their titles before and nothing happened. Isn't this just speaking the recruiter's language rather than being held back by a title I didn't even choose? Ooh.
Great question.
I want to say that it's true. Like, I feel like a lot of titles are basically just labels, and I have seen people get away with like a little edit on their job title on a LinkedIn page or on a resume. And they've gotten away with it. The only thing that I feel like might burn you is if you are applying for jobs at a new company and you change your title on it, but you have references from people at your current company who can vouch for you. I feel like that might go a bit left-sided if you push that agenda and then they call your references and they're like, oh, she was an intern, she wasn't a coordinator. I think like that was like, even though it's just something so small and minute, as someone who's like recruiting you, if you hear that and the first thing they hear is like a straight up lie, that will give a bad taste to them. And then you try and explain that to them after they find out will just feel like you're just covering for yourself. So I feel like you just have to be really, really careful in those situations if you're actively looking for a job.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it is expected that most people are embellishing to the maximum capacity that you have. Like, of course, a resume is putting your best foot forward. So you're going to be delivering it in the most positive light that you can. But I think there is a very clear delineation between embellishment and then actually editing the truth of the role that you had.
Yeah.
Like, I think in the description of what you do, you can drum up what you've been doing. But I think downright just changing the role that you had, like literally changing the title and position that you occupied in that role, strays into that's not true. Like, there's a difference between the scale of what you did versus what it was actually called. And I think if it strays into, like you said, if it strays into a lie, then it's unethical. Whereas if you're just talking up, you know, the responsibilities that you had and expressing them in the most positive language that you can, I think that's different. But I wouldn't go as far as to, like, I've been a serial resume patter my entire life. I have always wanted to put my best foot forward and show the breadth of the different things that I've done. But if it came to actually changing the title of one of those opportunities or roles, that's where I would draw the line. Particularly because you can get caught out. But even if you can't, I feel like it's just not the role you had.
Yeah, that's so true. And I also feel like, Meg, if you're applying to roles and you're saying that you had like an intern, you were a marketing intern, but you're doing a coordinator level role, you can still apply for those marketing coordinator roles. Like, there are a lot of companies that want to invest in junior talent to help build them up so they can like learn on the job and then reach new heights. And I feel like you're still within your right to completely apply for those roles if you believe that you can do them. So I wouldn't feel like, don't feel like that your label as an intern is kind of like a red mark. Like it's not. In fact, it's like such a good way to like show companies that you're willing to go above and beyond like your job title, which is exactly what you did, and that you can show that off in your resume.
Yeah, 100%. You can also use the description. Often you will have a cover letter when you're applying, and that's the context where you can say, my position was technically intern, but I was given an extraordinary level of responsibility. And this, you can elaborate in other places. But I think just to assume that because your responsibilities were greater than your role, that you're allowed to just change the name of the role is probably where it becomes a little bit iffy.
Our next question is about job references, which I feel like goes hand in hand with resumes, but I feel like it's one of the ones that we get most asked about, like actual references. So we got this email by Riley, and it basically asks every single reference question you've ever had. So it's going to be a meaty one. She says, I have so many questions about references, and I'm honestly confused about the whole process. Everyone else is below me in the hierarchy. Should I ask my old boss, even though she left badly? Can I ask someone who's technically junior to me now? And when someone asks me to be their reference, how do I politely say no if they weren't actually good at their job? Also, what's the protocol? Do I send them the specific job description I'm applying for, or just ask if they'll be a general reference? How will I even test if someone will be a good reference for me? Oh my God.
We need an episode on references for this question.
Oh my God. Riley, you're going through a reference spiral.
All really good questions, though. I think really common.
Really good questions. References are something that I haven't thought about in years. I'm also quite offended that no one's ever asked me to be a reference for them.
Look, I think to address the first part about your boss leaving on really bad terms, that's a really difficult one, but I think it really depends on whether they left on really bad terms with you or they left on really bad terms with the company.
I was going to say the same thing.
If they left on really bad terms and it was nothing to do with your relationship, I think they can definitely still vouch for you, because the whole point is that they're speaking to your skill set. And if they're a reference on your resume, it's usually because you're applying somewhere else that's not the company that they left. So I think that if they can still speak to your skill set and they still can, vouch for all the things that you did do in the company, and that's got nothing to do with their relationship with that company, especially if you're applying for a third party company, there's no reason why they can't still be a really good reference for you, especially if you trust that they won't go rogue and sort of start speaking badly about the actual business. I think that depends on the situation of what those bad terms are. And yes, you should absolutely still ask them if you do think they can keep that relationship with the business separate. As for asking someone who's junior to you, I probably wouldn't recommend that. I'm sure it's been done, but I think the more authority and breadth of what someone can speak to about the way that you performed your responsibilities, I don't think it's really the done thing to get that from someone underneath you. I think it's more to come from a leadership perspective, and that it would be much stronger if it did come from an old boss.
Yeah, and you also don't need to just get references from the company you're currently working at. Like you could branch out and ask like a boss from a different company, or like a coworker who's now been promoted to a higher level at a different company that you previously worked at. I feel like so many people think that it has to be the exact company that you come from, like going to a new job, and that is completely untrue. It's just anyone who you've ever worked with in your past who can vouch for you as a person as well as your work ethic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of links to the last part of the question about testing if someone will be a good reference for you.
Yeah.
I think you can gauge that by the relationship that you have with them, and also by their general level of eloquence or attention to detail that they give to the work that they do. I think you get a sense of who will give you a really glowing reference and who won't.
Yeah.
And I would definitely you don't want it to be too far into the past, because I think recruiters do want there to be some level of currency. But I would go for the strongest versus the most recent if they weren't the same person, for sure.
And definitely give them a heads up. Like you don't want your recruiter to be cold calling like your coworkers going, hey, do you have 15 minutes to spare to talk about this person?
Yeah. And when you give them that heads up, I would definitely send the specific job description because I would want them to be speaking to the skills that are relevant to that job and
Mm.
not just kind of going on about, yeah, she's really good at looking after her dog. She's great at, helping me curl my hair. Like, not that anyone would go that rogue, but
Yeah.
I think the more context they have, the better chance they have to
Talk about
help
you.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, in that specific application. And it could be different I've got references who have been my reference for very different kinds of jobs, and them knowing what the job is helps them tailor what they say to make it stronger for me as well, because usually a reference wants you to do really well, so
Yeah.
you've got to arm them with the most information that you can. In the flip situation, when you're asked to be a reference and you don't feel like you can give a really good reference,
Mm.
that is a very, very difficult question, but I think it is probably best to say no rather than to accept and then not really know what to say. Because the
Yeah.
expectation is that you're going to say something lovely. I don't know. I mean, I would probably say something like that as a policy, I don't really give references. Like, there's probably nice ways to say it other than I think you were really bad at your job. What would
Yeah.
you do, Em?
Oh, it's so, so hard. If it was someone that I was like, no, you were a horrible person, like really, really bad, I would say, no, I don't think I'm the best person fit to give you a reference. And it would be a very hard
Yes.
conversation. And I feel like it has to be someone that you're okay with not being like your enemy, I guess, for the rest of your life. Like they'll probably hate you.
Yeah.
But if it's someone that I felt like could do a good job, I'd say yes. And I'd do the reference, but I'd still be quite honest. Like I wouldn't be overly glowing and overly like enthusiastic about that person. I'll be quite honest with like the way they work. Because it's also your reputation on the line, right? Like it all comes back to you. Like if you give someone who was like, I guess, okay, earring on the side of bad, a reference that's like they're the best person in the world, like they're so good at their job, they're going to be amazing, versus if you're like they did their job, they were great, there were some issues, but overall I'm glad that I was able to work with them. I think that is way better for both of you than like lying essentially.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think if I personally wasn't able to give them the reference I thought that they like, if I knew that they expected me to say something really, really positive and I wasn't able to genuinely say that and put my name to it, I think
Yeah.
I would have to say no. I wouldn't just say
Yeah.
yes and then not say a nice thing.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
I
I'll
don't
do
know.
it.
I
They
just
were
feel like,
horrible.
yeah, I
Don't hire
personally
them.
wouldn't be able to do that. But I also am not very good at saying no. So I don't know. It's a really hard
It's
one.
really hard. Okay. I know I was complaining about no one asking me to be their reference, but maybe no one should.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay, our final question. I feel like this is the wildest question we've had in Biz Inbox history. And I actually don't know what my advice would be for it. Okay, let's go. It's an anonymous one. So you just know already. It's so wild. I found out my company is planning massive layoffs in January, but I overheard this by accident in a meeting I wasn't supposed to be in. My entire team has no idea, and they're all making big financial decisions, buying houses, planning weddings. One person just had a baby. I'm dying inside watching them live their lives without knowing what's coming up. Do I warn them and risk getting fired myself? Do I stay quiet and let them get blindsided? And honestly, should I be job hunting right now, even though I might not be on the list? I feel like I'm sitting on a bomb and I don't know what to do with this information.
I am spiraling just hearing this scenario.
I'm scared.
And it's such a tough one. Like, that is a dilemma. That is a
That is an
serious
actual
dilemma.
dilemma. I want to know the like logistics of how you were in a meeting that you weren't supposed to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like, was it a situation where you were in the meeting and they suddenly realized that, oh, we shouldn't be discussing this with this person in the meeting? Or was it like you were on call or like you overheard it through like another room or something like that? I think that can provide the ethics outline of what you should do next.
Mm.
It's really
It also,
hard. It's really hard.
go.
No, you go.
I kind of feel like it also depends on what your level of seniority is as well. Because if you are in like upper management, for example, and you were in the sort of, as you mentioned, if you were in the meeting where the layoffs were being planned and you're part of that upper strategic management, it kind of is part of your role to not deliver that news before the company is going to deliver that news. There's a strategy around that. And there's a reason why upper management is kept, abreast of those plans and why everyone else isn't. If you're a junior on the same level as everyone else who is sort of part of that layoff and who is going to be laid off, there's less of an expectation that A, you're not supposed to know, but B, it's not like a business strategy for you to keep it a secret. I think it's a little bit different. Like, I think there are much higher expectations of secrecy on senior management versus everyone else. I personally would find it really, really difficult to not share that information with people who are making huge financial decisions around me. That's my internal moral compass. But I also feel like it's confidential, sort of very sensitive commercial information.
I'm the same. I'd find it really hard to not tell my coworkers, especially watching them go through massive financial planning like that, like having a baby, buying houses, planning weddings, like that's like life destroying news or like those like life moments. And I don't know.
I would almost confront the company first, I feel.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. Like, I would go to that meeting you weren't supposed to be in, like whoever was running it, be like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah,
should I be looking for a new job right now? Should I be telling other people? Like, you should let people know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the way to resolve the real tension between this could also really adversely affect the company and big financial interests on their level if I say something, and also it really affects everyone else. The middle ground is let the company know that you overheard because, guys, that's your fault that you kind of didn't keep a lid on the information. But I have it now and I don't know what to do. I haven't delivered the news to everyone else yet, but I feel like it's out of the bag. What's going on.
Yeah.
And then at least you can maybe get some guidance on how sensitive the information is. Maybe you can give them a chance to deliver it themselves so you don't have to be the messenger, but bring forward the timeline because they know that there's a ticking time bomb. Perhaps it is a situation where you go to HR and say, look, I've become aware of this information and I feel really conflicted.
Yeah.
It's not a decision that you need to be making on your own. Also, I feel like this is such big financial interests on both sides on your shoulders. Like this is weighing down on just you in this moment and no one else knows you're going through it.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would go to the company and say, guys, I know. So what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Like you need to, and also just like tell them, be like, this person planning a wedding, this person just had a baby, this person is buying houses. You need to tell them right now before they invest in all this money into these like big things. I mean, the baby's like already happened, so.
Yeah. I think that's what I would do because I think if you went straight to your colleagues and just let it out, you also might not have all the context of what the redundancy payouts might be.
Yeah.
Like some people might be wanting a redundancy. It could be something that actually is a massive chunk of a payout. Some people might be being kept on. So you might go and deliver the news and saying everyone's being laid off and then half of them aren't actually being laid off. And then you've gone and ruined everyone's lives before. I think it's probably, best to just confront the company and clarify the exact facts before you go and deliver life-altering news on your own accord.
Oh my God. I am so interested to find out what happened. I want this person to email us again with what they decided to do, and then we can talk about it for the next season of Biz.
I know, this is a cliffhanger.
We're leaving on a cliffhanger, but that is a wrap on our season of Biz Inbox. We wanted to do a thing. I don't know, Sarah, do you have your advice ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We wanted to do a thing where we want to give you a final piece of advice that we want to leave you with. Mine's more like life advice rather than just workplace advice, but it developed from the workplace. And I stole this from Jemima Kirk, who is like an A-list actress. She was in Girl. She was in Sex Education. She's absolutely brilliant at like advice. And it's do the next thing. And I've used this so much in my life. I feel like if you suffer from if you have like mental health issues, if you are a deep procrastinator, I am both of those things. Doing the next thing has helped me so much. Like there'll be times where I'm just sitting at my desk and I'm like, I physically can't type out a word on my email. And I'll just be like, okay, do the next thing. Just read the email. Do the next thing. Write the intro to the email. Do the next thing. Finish the email. Send it. Like there are so many times, and I feel like this goes hand in hand when you feel like you're starting to get burnout in the workplace. When you feel like that everything just becomes so hard. Even just taking a lunch break, walking outside becomes like the hardest task in the world. Like do the next thing. Like just get up from your desk and see what happens. I think so many people, especially now in today's work climate, we talked about it on last week's episode that we're all job hugging and we're all just trying to go above and beyond for our jobs because we're so scared to leave them. And at the same time, there are people who have been struggling to find a job for the longest time. And it's just this really scary environment that we're in right now. And I think just taking the next little step just makes the biggest difference and stops you from just completely spiraling that I know so many people are going through right now.
Oh, that's excellent advice, Em. That's such a good one. Mine's probably more workplace focused, and it's been a recurring theme through every episode we've done, both A and B. And I think it's just that no matter what dilemma or quandary you're facing, you're not alone. We have had so many of the same repeat people feeling like they're really alone in their workplace, that they're the only one who's kind of facing this situation. Often it's a situation where they feel a bit disempowered in that workplace. So I think my big message to everyone would be, you're not alone. So many other people have faced and overcome the situation that you're in. You're not expected to deal with this on your own either. There is so much help and support and resources out there. And I think particularly as employees, there's that thing we mentioned before, there's often a big power imbalance between you and your bosses, which makes you feel like you have to tolerate everything that they throw your way. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
You're not meant to just suffer through every single thing that someone decides they want to inflict on you. Of course, there are rules and things that do come with authority, but there are a lot of situations that have been submitted where you have a lot more power to set boundaries, a lot more power to demand that you are treated well and rewarded and appreciated and supported in your workplace. So there is support out there and none of you are alone.
Oh, that's such good advice. It makes me so emotional. Oh my God. Anyway.
We are here for you.
We're here for you all the time. But that is a season wrap on our Biz Inbox. We have covered everything from lying about job titles to navigating reference etiquette and ending with some very serious, heavy workplace ethics.
Thank you guys so much for sending us your messiest work dilemmas all season long and trusting us with those situations. As I said, we are here for you. Keep them coming through our show notes link. We will be back soon with more career chaos to solve.
And do not worry, because we will still be posting on our socials and TikTok. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Biz by Mamma Mia. We're also on TikTok at Biz by Mamma Mia as well. And sign up to our very free newsletter. There's a link in our show notes. This episode of Biz was produced by Sophie Campbell with audio production by Leah Porges. We will see you next season. Bye.
Bye.